Shalom lechulam. Hello everybody. My name is Alon Cohen and I'm the founder and the executive chairman of nsKnox Technologies. Before I begin, let me start by saying a few words about myself. I'm the founder and former chairman and CEO of CyberArk Software. I actually started a company in my basement where I developed the first version of its product for 2 years. Then I led the company for another 13 years, mainly out of Boston, together with my high school friend and partner, Udi Mokadi. But let me jump quickly to discuss some of my thoughts that I'd like to share with you today. And I guess you all remember the statement of Ben Bernanke from 2008 that no bank is too big to fail. So I would like to rephrase this statement and use it for the current cyber situation we are in today and say that no bank is too big to fall. We read almost every day in the news about another large bank or enterprise that was hacked. Let's take, for example, from the financial sector, the case of JP Morgan Chase. The bank is probably spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year on cybersecurity, and the bank was hacked and 80 million records of its customers were exposed. And the big question is, should we say that cybersecurity is an impossible mission? Especially, I would like to remind us all that we are at war. If in the past an enterprise had to protect itself against criminals, mainly criminals, whether outsiders or insiders, today we're talking about the need to protect yourself against foreign governments, whether it's the North Korean governments, the Russian governments, or you name it. And moreover, if in the past we had to protect ourselves mainly against data theft or fraud, I believe that today the main concern should be data manipulation, because data manipulation can be used not only for fraud purposes, but it can be also used as an act of war to create an enormous damage to banks, and in some cases even take them out of business. So what else can be done in order to protect ourselves in this situation? And if you are asking me, if we want to win this war, we have no choice but to cooperate, to join forces. And when I say cooperate, I truly mean it. I mean practically join forces, and we call it cooperative cybersecurity. And the best way to explain cooperative cybersecurity is by using this picture of Scrum from rugby. As you can see on this picture, each one of the players is a very strong person, but when they stand together, when they build this shared structure together, it becomes much more difficult to go through them. So we would like to implement the same concept for the cybersecurity world, meaning that if someone would like to hack, let's say, Bank of America, it won't be enough to break into Bank of America, but they'll also have to break into some other independent enterprises, let's say Google, Microsoft, or the Federal Reserve Bank. The main idea behind the cooperative cybersecurity is basically redundancy, cyber redundancy. You know that redundancy is a crucial element these days in almost any aspect of life. No one would imagine even to fly 200 passengers on a single engine jet. I believe that no enterprise would store its data on a disk without RAID technology. So there is no doubt that we also need redundancy when cyber is concerned. So how does cooperative cybersecurity work? Of course, I don't have time to explain it today in details in this forum, but I just would like to use this simplified chart in order to explain the basic concept of CCS, or cooperative cybersecurity. The idea is that if we need to handle the number 4, we say that instead of storing 4 in any specific enterprise, let's split it, let's mathematically split it across multiple independent enterprises, in this case, Bank of America and Amazon. This way, each one of these enterprises is completely blind to the data itself, to the number 4 in this example, And if you need the information, you need to collect all the pieces, combine them together, and then you get hold of the number 4. This way, even an attacker, if he needs to attack, if he wants to attack an enterprise, he has to break into multiple independent enterprises. The nice thing about cooperative cybersecurity is that it's not only boosting the level of security, but it's also a great new business opportunity for banks and similar enterprises that are spending millions of dollars on cybersecurity, because now they can provide CCS services to other entities, to other companies, and do it for a fee, of course. And by doing so, they are not just increasing the level of security and stability of the overall financial system, they also see great new revenue stream for themselves. So now that we had a chance to see on a very high level what is cooperative cybersecurity, or CCS, I would like to show you that this is not only a revolution for the cybersecurity world, but it's also a great breakthrough for the FinTech challenges that we're facing. And let me use a few use cases to show what can be done with cooperative cybersecurity. By the way, as a company, we are developing the infrastructure. We have no intention to develop all the hundreds of ideas that we believe that can be done with cooperative cybersecurity, but we're going to develop some of these applications, and we expect third-party vendors to join us and to use this infrastructure and to use our API in order to develop their own applications. So the first use case is the simplest one. Basically, I'd like to show you how a bank can use cooperative cybersecurity in order to prevent massive data breach, a case in which millions records of its customers are exposed, just like the case that happened to JP Morgan Chase. And the idea here is that basically the bank has to anonymize its internal database, just stripping out all the personally identifiable information, storing it while splitting it across multiple independent enterprises. This is, by the way, the ultimate solution to comply with GDPR regulations and similar regulations. The second use case is basically how a CCS structure, how a cooperative cybersecurity structure can be used as a virtual notary. And just like a real notary in the physical world can act as a witness to every banking transaction between the bank and its customers and partners. So in this case, if you use it, basically you'll see that this is the ultimate solution against data manipulation and a great solution against repudiation and fraud. This is another very interesting example how you can use a CCS structure in order to protect state and global banking systems, payment systems, like RTGS, from fraud. Today, if I hack, let's say, the Central Bank of Israel, I can start transferring money from one bank to another, and there is no way for these banks to detect it and to block it. We say that by using CCS structure, you basically enables cooperative transaction monitoring, and you basically enables all parties to a transaction to see the full flow and history of the transaction. And by doing so, in the example that I just gave, if the recipient bank sees that the transaction was not originated from the transferring bank, then immediately knows that this is a fraud and it can block it. And my last two use cases are basically from the FinTech world, in which I would like to show you that by using CCS and a special application that we developed that is called Transaction Authority, you can basically replace many fragmented, insecure, and inefficient techniques that we are using today to approve transactions. You can replace them all by a unified, all-digital technique. Basically, I guess you are using today a mixture of these techniques to complete a transaction, whether it's online authentication plus SMS for online transactions, verbal authentication and call recording for phone transactions, ink on paper for in-person transactions, and even in some cases you are using faxes for remote transactions. By using our transaction authority that is based on cooperative cybersecurity, basically you'll be able to gradually replace all these techniques with, as I said, a unified, all digital, highly secured, and by the way, green technique to approve transaction and to complete it. And on my last slide, and my favorite slide, by the way, I would like to show you how you can use the CCS structure and technology and the specific mobile application that I just mentioned, the transaction authority, how you can use it in order to open your bank and to allow your customers to communicate with the bank in order to initiate transactions, not just get information, through any communication tools they would like to use, even less secure ones like WhatsApp, like emails. By using transaction authority, basically your customers will be able to initiate transaction through WhatsApp. They'll be able to communicate in a natural language with a banker or with a chatbot and to initiate the transaction in a secure way. So basically, I believe that this is a great breakthrough for the FinTech world, because I personally believe that no customer would like to learn and use complex online banking software in order to accomplish their banking needs. They would like to just say what they want to do. They want to use natural language, and to do so, and cooperative cybersecurity is a great platform to allow it to be done in a secure and safe way. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, and if you want to learn more, you can meet us at our booth outside. Thank you, everybody.